From the Daily Reporter, this is Ethan Duran. Welcome to Brews and Blueprints, a podcast about construction and development across Wisconsin. I'm Ethan Duran, and this is Brews and Blueprints, a podcast about construction and development in Wisconsin. I'm here with Ryan O'Toole, VP of Business Development for Hunzinger Construction. How are you today, Ryan?
I'm doing well, Ethan. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on the show. How is business going over at Hunzinger?
You know, everything is going really well. We've been very fortunate and blessed over the last few years, building our company, building our people, building our backlog for this year and 2025. So, looking back on the last few years and looking forward to the next couple, we're in a very great spot. Very fortunate to have the successes that we have, and really kudos and compliments to everybody on our team that puts forth the effort to continue to have successful projects and then find projects that are a good fit for our company and a good fit for our client, which then ultimately leads to success on both ends.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the recent projects over the years. As we were just talking a little bit about the Summerfest project, I know the Komatsu South Harbor was one of our top projects a couple of years ago. I think a lot of people are really interested in both, but the latter as well, Komatsu especially. Do you have any fun facts on hand? Any word about the challenges of getting that project together? I mean, it's absolutely massive, and I take a train past it every time I go to Illinois, so I wanted to know if you had any more to share about it.
Sure. I mean, we could probably do a whole episode just on that project in and of itself. For Hunzinger Construction, our entire team, our entire company, from the top down, that was a all hands on deck group effort, going after that project, pursuing that project, putting together our win strategies, and ultimately then being successful in the award of the project, and that took it was a massive undertaking on the front end, but then it was as equally challenging from not only the project standpoint but our staffing. That took a very large team of dedicated professionals here that were 100% dedicated to the Komatsu project for multiple years. So, looking back, it's a career project for everybody that worked on it. That a project of that size and magnitude and the impact that it has on the city, and the company, Komatsu, those don't come around very often. So for us, we're very proud of all the hard work that went into it, that contributed to the success of building on what Komatsu has really being a 135-year legacy in Milwaukee, dating back to P&H brand, from the late 1800s. And really transforming what is perceived to be a industrial facility, and the stigmas that may come with that being it's old technology, dark and dirty, and really transforming the Komatsu manufacturing facility on the harbor, South Harbor, into really a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility that is doing things that you really don't see in many other places, in at least in our history and career, working with other similar companies. The technology and the robotics and all the engineering and R&D labs that are all incorporated in this. It's really state of the art, and it's just great for the city. It's great for our state. They're now a major employer of choice right in the heart of the city on the harbor, and for us to be a part of that was just incredible. And looking back on challenges, if you will, I think the biggest one that comes to mind would be COVID, right? We were pursuing that project before COVID. And then pre-construction was in 2019, and our initial, round of contracts were written in early 2020 before COVID happened. And work began on site with Michael's driving piles in March of 2020. And then COVID hit, and we all know what happened temporarily, and we had to navigate that kind of uncharted water before. So getting through that as a team, and really not skipping a beat, not missing a day, not having anything impact the job or the schedule was really incredible. And so that was the first challenge of what was a very large scale project with a lot of different parts and pieces. You have the corporate office building with a sky bridge that connects over an active railroad. So that railroad was 100% operational during the entire construction project, where we were building essentially two sites with the railroad splitting the two. And that sky bridge, which spans 140 feet, was actually installed. The railroad was operating, but we had to schedule that around their schedule. So the site in general from the start was also very challenging, being having to be remediated from its former uses, and then the soil conditions from the start. We had 101 miles of piles that were driven on that site. So if you laid them end to end, it would be a straight line of 101 miles. So that was the first undertaking, was getting all the building pads prepped structurally with a deep foundation system, and running into obstructions and having to reset and restart with those piles. There was a lot of that, but we made it through that, and then successfully built the office building, the parking structure, and now this state-of-the-art manufacturing facility, which we self-performed all the machine foundations. So every machine foundation was done by Hunzinger, which was a job inside the job. And so we coordinated all of those efforts with Komatsu's team on the design and implementation of what needed to be done for each machine. And then on the back end, we had to coordinate with them as to what machines were moving from their existing facility over, and which ones were going to be new. And then we had to adjust our schedule so that we could allow time for tear down and breakdown of the machines in Milwaukee to bring them over and start installation on the new campus. And then coordinating then all of the new machinery and all of the people that were sent to the facility to install and calibrate the machines. They were coming from Japan and Germany. And so we had to, coordinate through COVID, all of the logistics of getting people here and being able to have them work, safely amongst our crews, and then, deal with language barriers, which they all came with interpreters. And so it was just fascinating how it all came together.
I hope the person in charge of logistics on that one got a raise. So, that's exciting. Hey, I also heard some recent news about your career and becoming the elected corporate director at AGC of Greater Milwaukee. Congratulations. Can you tell me what that's like?
Well, sure. So, thank you. So Hunzinger Construction has a long standing history with the AGC, not only just being our local representing agency, but also from participation in their various committees and boards. So I started with my involvement started with the AGC when I started here after I graduated in 2005 at what was then called the Young Constructors Forum, which is now evolved into the CLC, the Construction Leadership Council. So I kind of came up through that transformation and then was a participant in the CLC. And then my first experience with the AGC in the last few years was participating in labor negotiation committees. And then now that got me a seat at the table on the board. So I'm representing Hunzinger Construction on the board, and my positions will follow through over the next several years. And then, seats get backfilled as people move through the positions. So, very proud to be representing the company. My father was a president. My uncle was a president. My grandfather was a president. So, really, it's continuing the legacy of the Hunzinger family, contributing, but also just, representing the company. So it's my first year, so I'm in my fourth month, but it's a lot of fun. It's a great learning experience to learn and work alongside my peers in the industry in a collaborative effort to improve our industry as a whole.
Great. Can you tell me a little bit about your career history before this? How did you start out and how did you get to this point, and what did you learn along the way?
Sure. So, being a fourth generation family member of the Hunzinger family, I've been around the company my entire life. So in college, I was a local 113 laborer every summer and Christmas break, working out in the field, working alongside all of our, carpenters and laborers and cement finishers and superintendents, really learning the business from the ground up, which it was invaluable. Some of my favorite experiences and memories, just learning from the true, professionals that are our bigger part of our company, right? They're the ones out there every day putting the work in place. And so, looking back, those are very, very fond memories of mine. And it got me to, build rapport with the people that I would eventually then be working with from the office standpoint. So I was an intern in 2004, and then I started in 2005 as an assistant project manager and progressed through being a project manager. And then in 2011, I took over our commercial interiors division, which is all of our tenant improvement remodel work. And I did that until 2017, when I was put into my current position in overseeing the business development and marketing efforts for Wisconsin and Colorado. And so looking back on those different eras, I started at Bayshore Mall in 2005. The new guy, very green, quickly got immersed right into the process, and being out working out of the job trailer on site was, as equally, invaluable for my learning as a young builder, being right in the job trailer with the superintendent and all of the foremen and solving problems live. And then I went on to the Park Lafayette Twin Tower projects on the east side, where we self-performed all the concrete. And so I was on the concrete team managing the process of us ultimately placing 29,000 cubic yards of concrete. And that, looking back, is, for me, that was the project that I feel like really kind of solidified me as a builder, right? I mean, I really got into the process of planning and coordinating and really understanding how everything comes together from literally the ground up, 4 stories underground to 20 above. And so then I transitioned to the finishes team, the building team, to see that project to an end. And then during my next few years, I was involved with the Summerfest South End project, again, where I was out on site in the job trailers, where we were building the whole South End new entrance, the BMO stage, the ticket, the new box office, restrooms, and then the Briggs and Stratton stage, and just to be able to be down there and watching how all of that kind of was all existing, and we tore a lot of it down and rebuilt now what is my favorite end of the grounds, not just because I worked on that project, but that's where I find myself kind of hanging out the most.
Do you have a favorite stage from that project that you like to visit?
Well, I think ultimately I'd say it's got to be the amphitheater, right? I mean, I don't think you can find very many people that don't have a favorite concert memory, or they can pinpoint the year that they were there, and it's always who they saw at the amp. And so for us, we built the original amphitheater in 1987, and so for us, being able to come back and repurpose it into what it is today over 2 phases during COVID, being the first phase being pre-COVID, the second phase during COVID, and then the ultimate engineering feat that was done in raising the roof 26 feet has never been done before. And so for me, just there's a great amount of pride for our family, the company, and all the people that worked on that project. And little fun fact, Joel Becker, our general field superintendent, who just is in his 42nd year with us, was the superintendent on that original project. And he was also now the person that was running point and lead for Hunzinger on what we did in for the amphitheater phase 1 and phase 2. And so for us, we're very proud that Joel got to build it, and then Joel got to see it come to what it's now, its new life. And really, what it does for the city and Milwaukee World Festivals by, raising the roof structure, giving them more area for the larger stage shows that are now touring. It really it can draw any act where they were limited before. So for me, that's my favorite one. Summerfest in general has always been one of my favorite clients and accounts and projects to be a part of and learn from. My dad was a musician, and he played every year. His band played there every year, so we'd go down and see him on the Briggs stage, and for him too, his legacy too, making sure that seeing that project to its completion, that's just it. It'll always have a special place in my heart.
I see a lot of these projects have a significant impact on Milwaukee, whether it's a concert venue or towers or a new industrial district. But how about projects out of the state? You were telling me a little bit about the one that got your company moved to Colorado. Can you tell me a little more about that?
Yeah, so one of my last projects when I was running the commercial interiors division was for Great West Financial, Empower Retirement. They were located in Glendale, and they wanted to move or needed to move, and they wanted to be downtown. So they took 3 floors in the Chase Bank Tower, and it was a very, very, very aggressive schedule. It was 65,000 square feet of new construction in 10 weeks. And so we had to really establish our team early and get buy-in from every single sub, that when we were submitting our response, our proposal, that we were 100% committed to getting them in that space by their deadline. They had to be lights off on a Friday in Glendale and lights on Monday in the Chase Bank Tower. And so the parent company is Putnam Investments. They're on the East Coast, and So their executives were the ones that were overseeing that project. They oversee all the projects across the country. And so that at the end of that project, they had asked Hunzinger if we'd come out and be their CM in Colorado. And we had initially told them that we're not, we don't really travel that far very often. And so we analyzed it, we looked at it, and we realized this actually was going to be a great opportunity for us. And so we decided that we would give them our commitment. And so we went out, and Matt Hunzinger, my cousin Matt, had been working in Colorado. He graduated from Colorado State and just had been living and working there, established his life there. And this was an opportunity for us to bring him into the family business and open an office in Colorado. And so we did that in 2017, and we've been out there ever since. So having not done that project and not having it go as smoothly and great as it did, really don't know that we would have had an honest opportunity to expand out to Colorado, and then ultimately bring Matt into the business, which was just kind of the icing on the cake, the silver lining. So we do travel for clients. We don't seek work out of the state, but for clients over the years, we've gone to Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois. Years ago, we ended up going down to Alabama and Georgia. So it was a great opportunity, great project, great success story for the company, and really for Great West to be able to put their roots down in Milwaukee, and then help them grow in Colorado as well. So that's how we got out of state.
All right. What do you envision for the company next? What's the future looking like?
Well, it's very bright. And we're, like I said in the beginning, we're very blessed. We're very fortunate. And the leaders of the company, Jim, John, and my late father 7 years ago, put people in place to backfill key positions, right? And I was one of those in my role. And so they've established a lot of trust in our group, and we are we're very fortunate to be given the opportunity to be working more on the business than in the business collectively as a group, with our strategic planning efforts, our growth efforts, and then really just kind of organizing the company in the way that it needs to be today for our current work, and then growing responsibly leading into the next couple of years. And so we've just been blessed with their leadership and mentorship over the years. And so 7 years ago, we also transitioned to an employee-owned company. So we are in our 7th year, and we have a couple years left before we're at 100% employee-owned. And then at that point, I think then the transition of the succession planning that has been put in place will take effect, and the current group will be leading the company, and we couldn't be here and be in these positions and be selected to be part of this next generation of leadership of the company without all of the years that they've spent just helping us grow and teaching us and getting us involved in parts and aspects of the business that we need to be in now, and for the last 7 years to be able to understand and really carry that into what will then become the 4th generation of the business. So our people are our biggest and best asset, and we've established a team of incredible people that are just really doing an incredible job working together in every department, and we're really just we're a very collaborative, tight group, and we're really positioned well for future success.
Ryan, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Ethan.